What is up? Welcome to another episode of Timber Talk Time. I'm your host, Jonathan Timber, and how you doing? Long time no see. It's been a couple weeks. Um, yeah, I just needed a couple weeks away from doing the podcast, and it wasn't anything personal. I still love you. Uh, I just life been lifing. Um, so yeah, I just needed a couple weeks to kind of just breathe. There was some election had happened, so that took a little mental space up. Yeah, celebrated 1 month anniversary of being married. Um, Celebrated my wife's birthday. Went to the Georgia Aquarium. What? That place? If you've never been, go to the Georgia Aquarium at some point. It's absolutely beautiful. The dolphins made me cry. Uh, it's amazing. I felt go to places that make you feel like a kid more. Again, all the time. Do it like once a month because it's good for the soul. The walking through that aquarium and looking around and having that feeling of awe and wonderment. I don't know if that's the right word, but just wonder, just being in awe and knowing like it was just beautiful. And then seeing kids, little kids, just be like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Yo, I feel that too." It was such a wholesome a thing there in Atlanta, and yeah, it was just beautiful. So I say, go do more things that make you feel like a big kid because that's where the magic is. Yeah, I've been hooping like crazy because my Knicks are just killing it this year, and I just felt super inspired by it. But I've been hooping like crazy again. I went and did a run with a couple of the guys here in Greensboro, and I felt, man, I miss playing basketball. Another thing that makes me feel like a kid. Oh my gosh, I missed playing basketball. It like organize a team and running up and down. Cause I go to the courts and I'll shoot for an hour to get my heart rate up and get my steps in and run up and down the court by myself. But it's not the same. It's not the same as getting in the run and being tested and oh man, playing basketball. That was one of those things for me. The passion that I exude for music and the level of determination and all that good stuff that I pour into music. Uh, I have that same feeling for basketball. It was absolutely amazing. It felt so great. Um, yeah. So now today it is November 22nd, and I'm a little late recording it this week, but that's okay because I I had this thought in my break, I guess you could say, um, thinking about how much pressure we put on ourselves. The world didn't ask for this. Nobody asked for this. That people ain't busting down my door for more episodes yet. Um, I put so much pressure on myself, like the world was ending if I didn't do an episode or if I didn't, But in the sake of consistency, that's why I wanted to do this is to push myself to be more consistent and to continue, following through with the thing. And I took a little break, and now I'm back, better than ever, baby. Um, yeah, so I'm excited to be back. I think we're 12 episodes in. This is episode 13. Or no, this is episode 14. I don't know. I'm here. I'll edit in exactly what episode it is, and I'm grateful that you're here also. Today's episode is about the illusion of connection. Um, yeah, I feel like we live in a time we live in a time where oh, that reminds me, us I've been practicing, we'll put a pin. I've been practicing voiceover stuff. So if you've seen any of my podcasts, I'll do random voices here and there. But now I'm taking that a little bit more seriously and working on, you know, diving or driving down the avenue of voice acting and pursuing that seriously, because I feel like I got a voice. I feel like I could do things with it. I've been studying commercials, and it's crazy to look at commercials with the same type of attention I look at music or look at podcasts or basketball or whatever my passions are. Commercials are becoming my passion. So, shout out to my mentor, Kate Middleton. It's been awesome in leading me down this path. And yeah, so um, just heard one of my watches go off. I didn't know that my alarms were on it. Anyways, today's podcast is about the illusion of connection. And we live in a time where, we're so connected. We're in each other's phones. At any point, you could reach out and blah, 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 boom, boom, you're right there. And I started thinking about that because as connected as I am, I was just speaking from personal experience, as connected as I thought I felt with everybody, I feel like I've felt the most alone in a long time in my life. Obviously, aside from my beautiful wife, we're peanut butter and jelly. We're together all the time, and I'm super grateful that life has given me the opportunity to be as connected as her and I are. Daily, going to lunch together, all that stuff. That part of my life connection is not what I'm worried about. I'm talking about friends, acquaintances, whatever you want to call it. And I know I'm not the only one in this thing, because it's a thing. It's a very 2024 thing where we're all hyper connected to each other. We see what everyone's doing on the phones, but it's always like the most. It's the highlight reel. Um, so yeah, I want to talk about in this podcast how we're so connected in a digital age, but yet so many people feel so disconnected. And yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and dive on in. The paradox of connection. Uh, like I said, we have these phones in our pockets, and we're able to see what everyone's doing all the time. So it's like I'm guilty of it myself, but like it's like, oh, I see so and so's doing good, cool. I don't have to check in, but it's not like that. I'm getting to a point where if I'm thinking about somebody, I'm gonna text them and just see how they're doing and reach out and be like, man, how's your soul doing today? Because reality is we're putting up whatever we're putting up online, and it's not everything, and it shouldn't be everything, because that's not what this life is for. So I'm personally trying to make a better effort of just reaching out to people more often, just seeing how you doing. I miss you. You know, just reaching out to people and really making that connection, that personal connection that we all grew up on, and now we live in a time where it's kind of gone by the wayside, because you just see everything is just scrolling by. Uh, it makes you feel connected, but like in reality, like personally, I just feel very isolated. And it's not, that's why I'm trying to go be more active in the community, be more around people, because I know that face to face thing, which is something I'll talk about later. But like, we're lying to ourselves. Like, I have friends of mine that I love and care for so much, and I'll see them every once in a while, and we have the same conversation of, oh, we need to get together. What, and some of us are good at this, and some of us are bad at it. And I kind of wanted to have this conversation, um, for the people that aren't good at it, to remind you that you can still make a change. You can make that difference, and reach out to those people. Be super conscious and aware of making the time and making those connections, those real connections, those face-to-face connections with people, because then you can really see how you're doing, what's going on in your lives, catch up in that way, as opposed to being like, oh, cool, cute baby. Oh, cool. Your family's doing good. No, like, what's up? How we used to do. And I feel like that makes me sound like an old fart, but I feel like that's a thing where like kids nowadays, or the younger generation, is super isolated, because everything, you don't have to go. You go into a room and everyone's on their phone. And mind you, I know I'm doing this on a phone and it's going to be up on a phone, you know, and that's how you're going to see it. But like, I guess I'm hoping to spark, um, what the hell was that? Spark. That's crazy. I said spark and something fell. Uh, yeah, spark that conversation, those conversations again. Sorry, I'm got distracted by something falling over here. It keeps on falling. ADD. Had to finish that. Um, yeah, so it's like there's a superficial nature to online interactions. Sorry, I'm kind of bouncing all over the place today. And there's a lack of depth in face-to-face communication, because you feel like you can just be like, oh, we're good. You good? Check. I liked it. I shared it. No, like, what? How are you doing? You good today? How are you feeling? And we're like lying to ourselves about the level of connection that we're creating. I feel like. Next, I want to talk about the uh, impact of it on your mental health. Um, you know, it goes back to the notion that I keep talking about, the looking over the looking over the bridge, or looking over the fence. Sorry, I just got a text message there. Looking over the fence at everyone else's grass, and it could create a depression. It could create jealousy. And in reality, we're all standing at each other's fences looking over. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, the societal comparison bubble, or the societal comparison loop that we get stuck in. I feel like everyone is could be a little guilty of that, and that's okay, because that's how society is now. That's just comes with the territory. Personally, and I'm speaking from my personal experience. Um, I feel like that's a thing, and I know I'm not the only one feeling that. I can't be, because I'm not that original. You know what I mean? Um, I'm not alone in this, and I know there are other people that feel the same way. So I want to illuminate that, uh, and you're not alone. You're not alone. You're not alone. I promise you, you're not alone in this. Um, you know, the idealized versions that we see of other people isn't all. That's not all. That's not all of it. That's not it. So just let's break down that barrier, and reach out to our friends, and really be connected in each other's lives again. And I'm saying that, like I said, I'm saying that for myself, because there's a lot of people that I wish I reached out to more, and I will be reaching out to more. And not only just like reaching out in the sense of like, I'm having a bad day, I need someone to cry. No, like let's reach out in victories. Let's reach out in steady waters. Like not just when the water, not just when it's sunny and beautiful, or not when it's just rainy. Like when the water's still. When I just want to see what, how are you doing? How is life? Um, I'm blessed to have created so many beautiful connections with so many people, and I miss them. I miss a lot of people, and I guess I'm just saying this to hopefully inspire other people to want to create and foster those relationships again, and be there for each other, and yeah, I guess that's kind of where this is all coming from. Um, yeah, so I guess point number 3 is that it's time to reclaim that authentic connection. Reclaim that by just reaching when you feeling if you it's easier said than done, but when you're feeling that someone cross your heart, whatever, send them a message. Hey man, just reaching out. I hope you're doing well. And some of us are good at this. And it's not just doing it. It's like keeping the consistency of it. Because I'll do it every once in a while, but then I'm like, then I won't because I'll just be scrolling online and I see you doing good, so everything's fine. We're cool. And I guess really I'm just calling myself out on this. Being better about being better connected to the people that I care about. And not just when I need something, you know, being there for each other all the time, in the good, in the bad, and really having each other's backs. Personally, I'm slowly trying to not be on social media so much, which is weird because it's such an easy thing. So, you're there, you kill time on it, whatever. I use it for, promotion of shows and promoting the podcast, but I want to be more intentional and precise in that as opposed to just being on there. Well, I've been looking up a bunch of basketball stuff because I'm newly obsessed with basketball. Oh, first yawn 17 minutes in. Good job, JT. Yeah, I want to. I'm looking for those connections again, and I'm grateful to be able to see that and hopefully make a change for what's in my life. It's gonna feel real good. It's gonna make a difference. It's gonna make it right. Anyways, songs floating in my head all day. I'm gonna make a change for what's in. Yeah. So I guess I say all that to say it's almost like phones. We're so wrapped up in our phones, and it creates a bubble for yourself. So then you fall into the bubble, and then the people around you are then isolated from you. I heard the analogy that phones and the connection that we have to phones. You go to dinner and you'll see a whole family at the table, and everyone's on their phone, and there'll be one person that's not on their phone. Or let's say you go to dinner and there's 4 people there, and 2 people are having a chat, and the third person's chatting along, and one person's on their phone. And then because that one person's on their phone, they've created an isolation for themselves and created an isolation for another person in the conversation, right? So then it's almost like secondhand smoke, right? But it's secondhand isolation bubble. And that's just not healthy. That because then you're not only are you affected by it, because you're not really gonna get unless you're not gonna get much out of this situation. If anything, you're not gonna get much out of the situation because you're missing out on life in real time. And so it's like secondhand smoke, but for phones. I feel like years from now, we're going to look back and wonder. I mean, even now, like there's such an addiction to it. And yeah, so I say all that to say It's time to make a reconnection to people again. And I'm longing for it myself, and I hope to inspire others to take that time. Life is so short, and now I feel cheesy. Life is so short, and I just wanna spend more time with people I care about. So that's really where all this stems from. I want to have real life experiences with people because those moments are so beautiful. So I'm here to inspire, hopefully, to push other people to do the same. And that's really all I got for my podcast today. I just wanted to get that off my heart. So I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I'm so grateful that you're spending your time with me. I love you so much. Sorry I was away for so long. I promise it won't happen again. And I hope something really, really, really good happens to you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Timber Talk Time. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Go New York Knicks.